Yo, what is going on, guys? Just wanted to come in here to give a trade recap for the day. I did have two sessions, so my analytics might get a little bit fucked up. I just thought that since I had so much free time at work, I thought I'll give it another go. Um, so today, on I'll talk about the first session, which is this session here. So we did take a loss and a win. And this is something that I want to talk into about one of the things I wrote in my notes, realizing where I went wrong and didn't save. The loss I took didn't save. Um, I talked about where I went wrong and what I can do to kind of make sure that I'm still following the process of finding the A plus setups. So, um, we try to take a short. Okay, I kind of remember. We try to take a short off this level here. If I just bring this back, we actually try to take a short off here, right? Which could have ended up playing out, but what was the high time frame saying? High time frame was saying, um, high time frame was saying at the time that we still kind of had this range to play around with, especially on the 1 hour. So as you guys can see, we broke 1 hour structure here, right? This is a form of support. We broke this area here after breaking this high. So what can we say? We can say that we could now look for shorts, right? We broke structure. What do we have here? We had a 1 hour gap, right? And I try to play shorts, but again, with a new range created, it's rare that we actually continue after putting it in a swing low. It's rare that we continue to keep on pushing further and further, right, to put in a swing low. So as you guys can see, we put in that swing low, which is here. Price actually tried to close below it, but we end up sweeping previous lows. We try to take a short off that 15-minute order block, and we end up getting destroyed. What did price do? Pricing came and filled this range once again. Price came and filled this range, and we filled an equilibrium. And this is when I talk into my second trade, but I'll cover my first trade. Um, so first trade, we were looking at this 15-minute gap, which we ended up taking a loss. What ended up happening was um, we got that flip in structure, um, but again we just weren't able to finish flush from these lows. We end up filling in this short-term range, and it was enough to push price even higher. So what does that result? That's telling me that the low time frame is still bullish, right? The low time frame is bullish to where? To fill in, what the hell is this? To fill in the high time frame range, which in this case was this 1 hour favela gap, which is here again, but we also had this 1 hour order block, which is here, and which is also marked on the 15-minute swing as well. So you guys can see we had that swing, we broke structure, right? What did we have? We had this, right? We had this 1 hour order block here, which price tapped into, right? Um, which brings me to my second trade. Um, Man, I swear this looks like a gap, but it doesn't look like a gap here. Oh, 5 minutes. Oh, yeah, okay. There we go. Okay. Fuck, I was worried there for a second. I was like, what the hell? Why did I mark this out? But again, when we wait for the high time frame POIs, this is the flush sit-ups that we get. We get a reaction from this hourly POI, which in this case is 1 hour order block, right? We go into the 5 minute. What's the 5 minute saying? 5 minute saying that we put in a high. Actually took out these highs, but we put in a high, put in a low, put in a high, put in a low, broke the structure. Price retraced up to this fair value gap. And what do we get? We get an inverse of this gap here, right? We get a nice inverse. And what does price do? Price actually just finishes out for 1 to 2, which brings me on to my point, which I'll bring it up now. So the week of May 11th, only waiting for high time frame POIs to be hit, hourly or 4 hour, following those biases, not waiting for the 5 minute or the 15 minute POIs anymore. When price hits an hourly POI or 4 hour POI, then I'm able to take a trade. Other than that, no trade. I am sitting on my hands. So moving forward, we are now gonna be waiting for hourly POIs only. And this will then bring me on to the third trade that I took on a different session, which is that other session that I'll talk about now. But again, do you see how flush we get? You know, when we have good execution on a lower time frame, but you know price is unable to deliver. Why? Right? Because we haven't filled in that high time frame areas. Right? That's why we're having so much trouble with these low time frame highs and lows. Right? Because let's say there was no hourly POI here, and we try to take a short. Right? What does price end up doing? Price ends up fucking taking out these lows, and then we reverse. We reverse back up again, right? We fucking reverse back up again, and then we get stopped out, and you know, price comes up and fill another, like it comes up and fill a high time frame high or low, or takes out something, you know what I mean, on the higher time frame, which then results again to the same thing of waiting for that high time frame POIs to get hit, right? As you guys can see, high time frame POI gets hit, we break structure, right? We break structure here. We wait for a retracement up to this um this range here, which in this case we had this 1 hour fair value gap, and we waited for an inverse, which is what we had there. And look how fucking flush price moves after taking out, you know, after filling in this hourly order block here, right? Look how flush it moves. It just fucking moves. And this is the trouble that I've been having when trading those live sessions with you guys, when I'm constantly looking to take a trade within the first 5 minutes within market open, right? Not like trying to trade towards those hourly POIs when ideally I should just be waiting for them, right? And having a uh having a better having better probability of trading away from those hourly POIs rather than trading towards them. Because what ends up happening is that we end up chopping, price might even be taking us out and then reversing. You know, we just end up with so much chop, and you know we don't get that deliver when, you know, if we're trying to sell off, we don't get that deliver past lows continuously, right? We always get swept out on low time frame highs or lows, right? And we end up get taken out, and we just constantly find ourselves keep fucking fighting price action when it comes to taking those 5 and 15 minute gaps or order blocks. We find ourselves like continuously trying to fight price action because price action doesn't want to continue past those lows or highs that we are trading towards, right? So, which is now I implemented a rule of waiting for hourly and 4 hour gaps to be hit only, right? Because that way if we wait for those hourly gaps and 4 hour gaps to be hit first, we are constantly um we are constantly um we are constantly having A plus setups, right? Because now we are trading with a high time frame, right? We can tell that the hourly, the 4 hour is still bullish, right? The 4 hours still bullish here, but on the hourly we're bearish, right? Why? And what does that mean on the 4 hour? That just means that on the 1 hour we are retracing to the 4 hour, right? So on the 4 hour, as you guys can see, we're fighting. We are within this 4 hour gap. But again, what's the 1 hour saying? The 1 hour broke structure already. What are we following? The 1 hour structure. right? What do we have? This hourly order block, right? And this is the shit I'm talking about. Like, I should just be waiting for these A plus setups, which is on the hourly time frame and the 4 hour time frame. Again, it will be limiting our setups that we can take throughout the day if we're only waiting for those hourly POIs to be hit, right? And it stops us from taking those continuations trades that most of the time don't even play out, right? Because we haven't filled anything. So this will jump in. We'll jump into the second trade I took, right? Oh no, no, sorry, the third trade I took. So as you guys can see, right? If we start off on the higher time frame, what's the 4 hour saying? Okay, 4 hour we are bearish. As you guys can see, break structure, last break of structure was here, right? Okay, so now we know that we're bearish on the 4 hour. The 4 hour is currently bearish, right? Where is price looking to target? You could say we took out these lows, right? Which is what we aim for. We could also say that maybe on the daily, right? We can say that in the daily, we're bearish on the daily as well to then take out these lows, right? But again, that is a nice short to actually trade towards, right? But the overall trend on the daily is bearish, right? You can see here, we break structure here. Oh, fuck's sake. We break, oh, sorry. We actually break structure here, right? We break it again here. And then we might actually break it again here. Right. So again, we wait for that hourly POI to get hit. In this case, we had a hourly fair value gap. Okay, what's our confirmation? We need a break of structure. We need a break of previous structure. Right. So in this case, we had this low get broken, right? So we can classify that as a break because we had a break here. We had a break here, right? And then we didn't put in a high, we put in a low. We tried to take out that high, we couldn't push past that high. We didn't break that previous low. So now we have that break, which is here. What are we looking for? A tap into a form of POI, which in this case, the only POI we had was this fair value gap. This wasn't really a clean auto block. It could be used as an auto block, but again, it wasn't really a clean one. So we did have this 5 minute gap. What's the 1 minute saying, right? 1 minute. What do we have? We had this inverse within this range here. We inverse it. We sell off. And look at that. Just fucking flush. Like, just flush all the way down for, again, I wanted to, right? And it just has me thinking like this is the setups that we're looking to find, right? I thought it was a problem with my executions, but no, it's the what do I call it? It's a momentum, right? We should be trading with a high time frame, right? And the high time frame isn't the trend on the 5 minute or the 15 minute. It's a trend of the 1 hour, the 4 hour. So what do? We wait for hourly or 4 hour PY to get hit, right? Once an hourly or 4 hour gets hit, we're happy to take a trade. We're happy to go into the lower time frame to see what price actually wants to do, right? And then catch a continuation of there, reacting off a what? A 1 hour or 4 hour POI. So that's something that I'm looking to go forward with when it comes to trading to see how we go in terms of winning. But as again, it's just something that I noticed, right? Like as I was back testing 2 or 3 weeks ago, I told you guys that I'm having trouble fucking um with stats, right? I'm constantly going break even on the month. It just means that my RR is too small, right? And that's because I'm constantly going break even on the trades because we end up taking those internal lows, right? And then price ends up reversing on us to fill in a high time frame high, right? Executions are there, everything is there. We just don't have the high time frame buys on our side, right? We're not hitting at hourly POI, right? We're not using that to our advantage. We're actually trying to trade towards those hourly POIs, right? Which most of the time don't end up holding, or we end up going break even, right? Which isn't a bad thing, but it just means that my timing of my executions are wrong, right? Because again, most of the trades that we had trouble with before, and we get a nice 5 minute gap here, we get a tap into it, we get an inverse of this, we break this low, right? Price ends up fucking coming back, right? After taking out these lows and coming back up again, right? And taking us out. To what? To fill in a high time frame high, or taking out a key high or hourly high, or doing some shit like that, right? It's always coming to do that. But as you guys can see, when we wait for an hourly POI, we get that 5 minute breaker structure. We get that 5 minute tap back into it. We wait for an inverse to get broken. Boom. Enter, stops against this high, right? We break this low, we go break even, right? And we just end up fucking ripping. Absolutely ripping. So it just shows me that we should be trading with a high time frame. I shouldn't be trying to fucking catch these lower time frame continuations when the high time frame POIs look like this, right? And these are the trades that we want. So that's a point that I made today on my notes, right, for the week. So it's important that I stick to that because ideally we want to find an edge in the market that we can be consistent with, right? Making sure that we're following our rules, right? If I know if I find a consistent system, I'm able to implement my psychology rules because I'm building confidence in myself, knowing that I can win in these markets more than I can lose, right? And I can manage my risk. So that's something that I'm going to be looking at going forward. Um, you know, it's funny. I just want to talk to you guys for a second about a couple of like um, people that I work with are quite old, right? Because I'm learning as an engineer. I'm always learning how to do the job and experience and things like that. They've had over 40 years of experience, and they were telling me, get your license and study for this so you can get more money, right? And I'm just like, in my head, I'm just like, that's probably what everyone else would do, right? That's what everyone else would do. They would study to get their license, right? And earn what, like two, three more dollars an hour than me, right? It stacks off over time, right? But they earn a little bit more than me. And I'm just like, I can make it in trading, right? I can make it in trading and make more than the top fucking engineer there is, right? In a month, right? And that's why I'm praying, I pray, for this shit to work. Because I still want to work a regular ass job, right? But also have this on the side going for me, just so I don't have to take as much responsibility as I do for work. I can just be a regular person, right? But being financially free. And that's the goal, guys. That's the goal, to be financially free. All right. And I just want to thank you guys so much for, um, you know, for having me, you know, for watching me, as I continue to grow, fall back down, but continue to get back up and to keep trying and to keep going, right? Again, we're trying to be that financially free, right? Being able to manage risk, being able to um, do all these things, and to be financially free. and we're trying our hardest. It's 2 a.m., right? I got home at 12:30. Showered, managed to get something to eat. I was relaxing for a little bit, and here I am, 2 a.m. Making these videos, putting these videos out to you guys, keeping myself accountable by making these videos to you guys. Um, and yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where um, I'm trying my best. I'm trying my best, boys. Like, I'm putting in the hard yards. Though it doesn't feel like it. I feel like I could be doing more, but I'm really trying my best with these 10-hour days at work. And these fucked up hours too. So I'm really trying my best there. But again, I just want to thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys have a blessed night, or day, wherever you guys are from. I'm gonna try and get some sleep. Get up in about 6 hours. So I can have a good start to my day tomorrow before I go to work. And I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you guys so much. Peace.